Hey, I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics. Want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. As soon as you have a chance, let your feet do the walk and take your little cell phone over to YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Phys Ed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. First things first, let's talk about the January 6th hearings. Now, it went on a year ago or so, but finally they've gotten around to having the hearings for all the mayhem that happened on January 6th. I mean, we all saw it on TV, but of course, this being America, there has to be a full investigation of what we all already have witnessed with our own bare eyes. So there that is. But there was more to it than what we knew, come to find out. Now, I'm not going to lie. I didn't necessarily watch them in real time. When they did these hearings live, that was Thursday, June 9th. That was my birthday. I turned 46 that day. So I didn't have necessarily the time to sit down and watch these in real time. But since then, I've watched them on YouTube. And of course, I've seen highlights from different pundits talking about this. So if you haven't seen it, I'll say hit YouTube and check it out because it's definitely some interesting entertainment or entertaining TV, if you will. So we come to find out that Trump, they were going to go to 7 battleground states and make up electors, basically, that would claim that he won. They're just going to make them up. They're just going to pull them out of hat. They're just going to find some random people to claim that they were electors and go there and claim that Trump was the winner. There were emails from the campaign in Georgia to Georgia electors telling them to use complete secrecy. So they wanted them to be low-key and just, you know what I'm saying, basically go behind everybody's back and do this madness to try and keep Trump in office. 5 Proud Boys were indicted. They could get up to 5 years in prison. That's a good thing. So, you know, they were in cahoots doing this whole thing. How do we know what was going on with them? Well, but hold up, before I even get to that, this blew me away about the Proud Boys. This is real about them. One of their rules for membership is no Proud Boy can masturbate more than one time in a calendar month. That was just one rule, but that was one of the more bizarre rules to me. Isn't that interesting? Let me say that again. One of their rules for membership is that a Proud Boy cannot masturbate more than one time in a calendar month. I thought that was so bizarre. And I'm like, what is that about? Is that some kind of race preservation thing or something? I don't know. Trey Bizarre, so I had to bring it up. But the Proud Boys, they let a film crew document their organization during all of this January 6th stuff. And that's what came out, you know, when they were talking in these trials and stuff. They had showed footage that a lot of people haven't seen because this British filmmaker was doing it behind the scenes. He was documenting the Proud Boys, and of course the Proud Boys were, you know, instrumental in trying to overthrow the government on January 6th. So that's what he ended up documenting. That was their activities at the time. Interesting. That all blows me away. With all of this said, I mean, when you see all of that stuff on TV and you see these witnesses and you've seen people who are involved with January 6th and you've seen some of them are elected officials and you've seen some of them get a little bit of retribution. Some of them get some jail time. We all seen the shaman, the dude with the horns on his head. I've reported on the stuff ad nauseum. We've seen all of that, right? Right. So then in November, will America still give the seditionist party the keys to the kingdom? I don't know. This is the question I ask myself, the question you have to ask yourself. Now, I know people like myself who are thoughtful voters. We're going to go out here and we're going to vote against that. But you got to wonder where America's head is at sometimes. And I don't know where America's head is at right now. I would like to think that there's enough people paying attention to know they're not going to give the seditionist party the keys to the kingdom again. But I wouldn't bet my life on it. Because this is America and people tend to not pay attention or even care. You know, I mean, a lot of times around here, people are so apathetic, it's pathetic. So a TI is what a TI is. I guess we'll see in November what happens. But that is the key question. You know what I'm saying? Will America give the seditionist party the keys to the kingdom? Will they give them the power again in November? We will find out. I hope people are paying attention and don't do it. But we'll see what happens. Moving on. I want to talk about something that's interesting and talk about a lifeguard shortage. What? That blew me away. A lifeguard shortage. Here it is summer. You got kids wanting to go to pools. You know, a lot of time private pools are swim at your own risk. You know, that is what it is. But, you know, I was a lifeguard for 4 years of my life, and it was some of the most fun I ever had in my life. I met some great people when I was a lifeguard. A few of them watch the show and are great friends and great fans of mine. Hello. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it blows me away. There's a shortage of that. Now, let me tell you, back in the day, this is many years after I had been a lifeguard and all that, when I had a job and I was a job developer, right? And I worked at a school called Allen Crest. That was a school for at-risk youth. And I got about 5 young men with me, and we were going to go and take the lifeguard test. I had them take the lifeguard test. And the guy running, I'm going to keep the names out of this story. The guy running at the time said, Ed, just bring them up here and I'll make sure that they pass. We need lifeguards. We're going to get them in. This was years ago, though. That's not even going on now while we have this shortage. It's a long time ago. So he tells me, he said, yeah, and he was a great guy. This was an older white gentleman, nice dude, nicest guy on 2 legs, nicest guy on the planet. Just real cool. He told me, he said, man, bring these guys through. I got them. You know what I'm saying? We'll make sure to get them on. So, we get there. Like I said, these kids, they was off the hook. I had 5 of them with me. Only 1 of them ended up actually taking the test. The other four were too busy trying to smoke cigarettes and fight each other. That was a heck of a day. So this one guy, he took the test, he passed, and he actually got a lifeguard job that summer. So I don't know how long he kept that or what that may have turned into, but that was a good experience, at least for him. I wish those other guys had their heads in the game and could have got on with that, because that's something, if you wanted to, you could parlay that into a lifelong career, right? I know people who got with the city, got a lifeguard job at 16, 17, 18, kept getting them each year, and then that parlayed into some other city job, and it just kept going. And these are good jobs with the city, mess around and get you a state job or something like that. And it'll be something that started off just because you were a lifeguard. And like I said, that was the most money and the most fun I ever had in my young life. We were making great money at the time, and we were just having a lot of fun, because swimming is fun anyway. And then when people come to a pool, they're there to do what? Have a good time, to have fun. So every day was a party, Even cleaning the pool was fun because you're still in the pool, So that blows me away. I impress upon the youth out there, please become lifeguards. Number one, you can learn to swim. You never know when you might need that. So like I said, I was a lifeguard for 4 years. I could save somebody right now. I could swim the English Channel right now. You know what I'm saying? I won't get caught up in the undertow. I hope not. But you see what I'm saying? That's a great skill to have. And like I said, it was great that I could learn it and then do it for years and get paid good money. And like I said, if you wanted to, that's something you could parlay into a career, because I know people working for the city right now, and they started off as lifeguards, and now they're doing something else, making good city money, getting good city health insurance. See what I'm saying? So that's something to think about, kids. Your future. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the Supreme Court and a Supreme Court ruling. Now, this I didn't know, and I bet a lot of you all don't know this either. Now, I want to rewind all the way. Let's go back and for a hot second, let's talk about Uvalde, Texas, right? And if you watch this show, I was really, really upset with those police officers. I still am. And guess what? Even after what I tell you, I'm still upset with these guys, because I just don't know how you can be a human adult and not care enough about little humans to not run in that building and do something about what was going on. But I digress. Let's talk about the law, right? Because I keep going through my mind, why are these guys not fired? Lawrence O'Donnell even said that on MSNBC. He said all these guys should be fired. Nobody's been fired to this point. But here's why. We're going to talk about why they haven't been fired. They actually didn't do anything wrong. What? Yeah. Check this out. The Supreme Court has been pretty definitive about something. Said police have no responsibility to risk their lives to save yours. Yeah. There was a case in New York where a man was on the subway getting stabbed. 2 armed police officers did nothing. They stood there and watched this guy getting stabbed up, right? A passenger on the subway stopped the attack. So there it is. At the end of the day, I have a responsibility to protect myself. Now, I got this from a guy on TikTok, and then when he said I had to go research it, and I'm like, lo and behold, it is the truth. So police officers are under no duty to risk their lives to save yours. What are we paying them for? I did not know this, but I'm sure a lot of people don't know this. Why they downplay this? Why would they upplay it? They downplay it because if they upplayed it, they wouldn't get all that funding they get. If they upplayed it, people would be like, well, go ahead and stop giving them the money we give. What are we doing that for? What's the point of that? And that blows me away. What is the point of that? So I'm like, they're not even duty bound to risk their lives to protect yours. That's amazing. Think about it. That's like a firefighter going to a burning house. Man, I'm just gonna sit and shit. And I think I told you about that last show. But I guess legally, police can do that. If the police were firefighters, they could just run out to a burning building. Hey, it is on fire. Let's try to put it out. If that doesn't work, we'll just wait till it burns itself out, and then we'll go in and see what we can do. And is that kind of what they did in Uvalde? You know what I'm saying? We're waiting for somebody else to show up and do the heavy lifting. So what were y'all there for, right? But it looks like they were not duty bound to risk their lives to protect them babies. They didn't have to do that, and they didn't do that. Well, you know what? Guess what? They can look themselves in the mirror, bully for them. But I still am like, nah, you're no type of man, you're no type of human being if you couldn't run in there and save some children. My God. But here you come to find out, that's not a part of their job description. So then when I think about that, I have to think about this last part. I have a responsibility to protect myself. Now, this makes me look at this gun ownership thing in a whole new light, doesn't it? Because I got plenty of friends, like I said, who are gun lovers. You know what I'm saying? They are gun advocates, and that's what they say, man, I'm protecting myself. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I hear that. I've been there too, right? But now I hear this, and I'm like, it looks like you're going to be there more often than not, right? Because you have the responsibility to protect yourself, right? So I could be somewhere and somebody could pull a gun out on me. Police could be right there, and they don't have to do anything. So who's going to protect me except for me? So I have to have something to protect me with, right? Like I said, it's making me look at this gun ownership thing in a whole new light. Because I'm not going to lie, I thought that the police were duty bound to risk their lives to protect yours. Come to find out, that's not the case at all. So if that's not the case at all, who's going to protect my life? Gotta be... I think Eminem said it best, man. Nobody got my back but pistol. I hate to feel like that. But I guess that's where they've taken it to. You know what I'm saying? With all these Republicans being beholden to the NRA, with all these people walking around with choppers, with a 21-year-old being able to get guns the size of them, these street sweepers, what are you going to do? They've made it the Wild Wild West. So I guess I got to at least get a six-shooter or something with an alt-6 or something. The 6 hour, you know what I'm saying? I laugh to keep from crying, but it's sad to think about that, man. To think that the police do not have, it's not a part of their job description to risk their lives to save yours. So what are we doing here? Why do we have cops? Why do we have cops? I guess everybody should just be packing a gun. We're already so I guess we're at the Wild West again. I guess that's where we're at. That's where we're at. You know what I'm saying? But things don't do nothing but what? Come back around full circle. So it TI is what it TI is, but that blew me away to hear that. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? So I guess your life is your responsibility. Well, I knew that, but I guess I didn't know that it was as serious as it is. I don't know why I thought it wouldn't be. Anyway, moving on, there's that. You know what I'm saying? Let that rattle around in your brain. Next topic. Let's talk about high gas prices. Everybody going on about gas prices. And lo and behold, that's what's going to ensure that the Democratic Party loses these next midterms. The fact that Joe Biden didn't deliver on anything really, the fact that a little bit that he did deliver on, it is what it is, and now people are blaming a horrible economy on what he did deliver on. The fact that he won't really do anything about all the issues that are going on around here. One of which being, police violence against people of color and stuff like that. The fact that he won't really touch any of these issues or do anything in these issues is not helping. And then, of course, gas prices. Now, I've talked about it ad nauseum, and I tell people all the time, the president has absolutely nothing to do with gas prices. A couple of days ago, he basically said as much out of his mouth. You know what I'm saying? He talked about that. He said Exxon, these guys, they had profits in the billions. He said, and they talking about they don't have these oil reserves. He said they have all these permits to drill for oil and they're not using them. He said they're not using them because when there's a shortage on oil and reserves, then they can drive up the price, so they're getting rich. That's what's going on. I'm about to explain it. I'm about to put some numbers to what he just said, right? But people don't hear that because people aren't paying attention and people are stupid and people get into fly-by-night facts. And then they're like, that Joe Biden, when Trump was president, gas was $2 a gallon. Think of all the stuff that's went on since Trump was president. A lot of it, Trump is the reason for it. It's his fault. But go ahead, blame the guy who's up there now. That's what people do. People blame the president for everything. So a TI is what a TI is. But just know, those within earshots of my voice, please know the president has absolutely nothing to do with high gas prices. Now, like I tell people all the time, right? Men lie, women lie, but these numbers right here, they don't lie. Let's get into the numbers of it. Exxon took A $3.4 billion hit when exiting Russia. So when they left Russia, they lost $3.4 billion. Profits still soared 53% to $90.5 billion. Then net income doubled to $5.4 billion and then more than tripled to $8.8 billion from the $2.7 billion a year earlier. Yeah. $30 billion in stock buybacks, which was $20 billion more than the $10 billion that they said they would offer their shareholders. Wow. So think about that. They told the shareholders, yeah, we're going to be able to give you $20 billion in buybacks. They came with an extra $10 billion, making it $30 billion in stock buybacks for their shareholders. They could have put that $10 billion into fixing their own infrastructure, and maybe we wouldn't be paying $5. And it looks like in the next year you're paying $6, maybe $7 a gallon for gas. They could have reinvested into their own takes, into some of the ways that they extract this natural resources and stuff like that, and kept prices down. They didn't do that. You know, they laced their own pockets with cash. They made sure that their shareholders had money hand over foot, and they left American people in the lurch, right? Because what do they care? They getting paid. And that's what's going on here. So when you hear people run around and they give you that garbage about, you know what I'm saying, when Trump was president, gas was lower, and Joe Biden and gas is higher, he's got nothing to do with that. Exxon, they're making out. They're doing this. I told people all the time, you know what I'm saying, gas prices are about oil speculators. I call them speculators because they speculating, ain't speculating. They speculating on us, the American public, because they working against you, you know, because they know the gas it probably ain't gonna cost what they saying it's gonna cost, but let's go ahead and say it costs that so we can charge you more for it. We're just speculating. There it is, you know what I'm saying? But people don't look at the background. You know what I'm saying? The devil's in the details, ladies and gentlemen. So the president does not control gas prices, right? And if he did, know that they'd definitely be lower because, like I said, this is going to help him lose. His party is going to lose the midterms, probably behind this and a host of other issues, but this does not help. And it's like that. People always blame the current president for high gas prices. People always blame the current president for any problem that there is. Now, how about this? He is not the reason for some of this stuff, but some of this stuff Biden could be fixing. And Biden could be fixing it doing just some simple stuff. Like, number one, let's get rid of the filibuster. You know what it is, man. We already know that the filibuster ain't been nothing but a tool of racism, mostly. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and get rid of that. Dismantle it. I get sick of these people talking about, oh, well, you know what I'm saying, this is tradition. I don't want to blow up years of tradition. Man, get that out of here. Get it out of here. We need to get rid of the filibuster. Get rid of the electoral college. Let's actually have one man, one woman, one vote up in here. You know what I'm saying? Let's actually try a crazy thing called democracy in real life. You know what I'm saying? So these are some things that Joe Biden could be helping with. There's some things that he could do with executive privilege. You know what I'm saying? Now people are like, well, an executive order. People are like, well, an executive order ain't all that great because, you know, this executive makes an executive order, then the next executive comes in and gets rid of it. Okay, but guess what? Sometimes the next executive comes in and doesn't get rid of it, right? Sometimes the next executive comes in and says, that was a pretty good idea. I'm going to go ahead and leave that alone. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of this other stuff that they did, but I'll leave that alone. So go ahead and do it, Joe. What's the point of being president, man, if you ain't going to make some moves? You know what I'm saying? You ain't got... And that's what I told people all the time. Joe Biden is a moderate, and that's what he's been up there. He's been a moderate, scared to move the needle. But he better do something. He better do something, right? The Democrats are resting on their laurels. Please do not rest on those laurels. Please do not rest on those laurels. I've been screaming it from the rooftop. I'm screaming some more. Don't rest on them laurels. With the same thing, I get sick of hearing that the Democratic Party is going too far to the left. I go on record as saying there are no real life progressives in Congress. I mean, there's AOC and some of them, and I've said that before on this show before, but the real life progressives, the real life people who are in Congress calling themselves trying to change things, sticking their neck out there for the American people, where they at? As Q-Tip used to say, where they at? You'd have to show them to me. So there that is. You know what I'm saying? Ain't really no real life progressives like that in Congress. I get it. It's politics. You got to play the game. With that said, Democrats, where you at? I don't hear you. Get vocal. Why are you not on these shows? You know, you got these idiots like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. They love TV time. They can't wait to get in front of a TV and spout a bunch of lies. So why don't some of these Democrats get in front of TVs and tell us the truth? Tell us what y'all have done. Tell us about the legislation you have passed. Tell us about how, or tell the American people about how if they don't get active and if they don't vote, the seditionist party is going to take control again. You know, ask them, is that what y'all want? Do y'all want a dictator in chief? Because that's what you're going to get if you don't pay attention. If you don't get involved in this thing called politics, you will have a king and you're not going to like it. Whether you think you will or not, you're not going to like it. So we need some Democrats to get on TV and tell people these things. If they don't, oh well, TI is what a TI is. But you know what? Americans, I'm going to tell you, if you don't pay attention to politics, I seen a thing a while ago and it said that. You know what I'm saying? It said people who don't pay attention, who aren't in the know, they get the government they deserve. That's what it is. If you ain't paying attention, you ain't got no skin in the game, you don't care, you get the government you deserve, don't you? That is what it is. Anyway, before I get up out of here, I got to hit y'all with a delicious, this is not an IPA. You know, lately I've been on a milk stout kick. A milk stout. So that's what this is right here. This is a milk stout. And this one's called Nitro. America Stout by Left Hand Brewing Company. Yep. And this is a delicious milk stout. It is 6.0% alcohol. It says a different beer, a different pour. I agree with that. Super smooth with soft roastiness and mocha notes. All of that's true about this right here. This is a delicious little beer. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've had milk stouts that tasted better than this, but this was still really, really good. And it was something about the aftertaste on this one. The aftertaste is the part of this that's really, this part here where they talk about how it's roasty and the roastness and the mocha notes. You get all of that in the aftertaste. So you'd sip it, you know what I'm saying, gulp it down your throat, and then boom, it hits you right after. So that was amazing right here. This Left Hand Brewing Company, I bet they got some other beers. I haven't tried them yet. Like I said, this right here is 6.0% alcohol. So that's pretty good. You know, most beers, 5.0%, 6%. So you're going to feel this one right here. You know what I'm saying? This will leave a little something to go home with. So if you got a little bit of money in your pocket and you ain't scared of a milk stout, and like I said, believe me, I'm an IPA guy. So I like strong beers. And I never in my life would think of milk being good for an IPA or having, and you know, milk stout, milk with beer. You wouldn't think, but something about these milk stouts, the few I've had, that other one I reviewed and this right here, good stuff. So this milk stout by Nitro, America Stout, good stuff. You run out here and get you some of this, I guarantee you will enjoy your drink experience. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. I got to get up out of here. Once again, I want to thank you for liking and subscribing. As soon as you have a chance, please run on over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Got a whole lot of birthday shout outs on my birthday. Like I said, this past Thursday, June 9th, it is Gemini season. So I want to say what up to all my Gemini brethren and sisters out there. You know what I'm saying? Living it up this Gemini season. Please pop bottles. You know what I'm saying? Pop bottles this Gemini season. And I want to thank everybody who hit me with a birthday wish. A happy birthday, man. Warms the cockles and the subcockles of my heart, ladies and gentlemen. That is what it is. I am your humble host, Phys Ed Music. This right here is Urban Politics, where politics lives, and always, or as always, see you around like a donut.